Because of one dress, I asked Alex for a divorce. He frowned. You're fat and ugly. Wearing a pink dress makes you look like a pig demon. How am I wrong? It's time you fix that little girl temper of yours. Otherwise, you'll embarrass me when we go out. As expected, Alex's sharp tongue hasn't changed in 10 years. I didn't speak. I went to the bedroom to pack my luggage, then put the divorce papers on the table. That was when he finally reacted. He looked up at me. Luna, are you serious? You want a divorce over something this small? I nodded, because to me this is not small. Chapter 1. Alex and I were campus sweethearts. After graduation, we got married and had our daughter, Sophia. After 15 years of marriage, Alex fits every textbook definition of a good husband. Responsible, no bad habits, hands over his salary, and treats our child well. If he has any flaw, it's just his toxic mouth. Like today, I wore a pink long dress. It actually looked good. Pink makes you look youthful. Even Sophia said, "Mommy, you look so pretty in this color." But Alex didn't think so. At the first glance, he frowned. Luna, wearing this kind of dress, do you think you're still an 18-year-old girl? You're already fat and ugly and still wearing such a flashy pink color. You look like a pig demon. Hurry and change. You still have to pick up Sophia later. If people see you like this, you're embarrassing not only yourself but me too. Even though I've lived with this kind of humiliation for over 10 years, in that moment, clutching the hem of my dress, that suffocating feeling clamped tightly around my chest, I couldn't breathe. I remembered that a few days ago because I needed to take Sophia to play in the sand. I wore a black outfit that wouldn't get dirty easily. Alex frowned the same way and told me, "You're already old and you still dress like you're mourning something every day. You look like someone owes you 80 million. In his eyes, wearing something bright was wrong. Wearing something dark was wrong. It was as if in his mind everything I did was wrong. And suddenly I didn't want to keep living like this. Alex, let's get a divorce." Chapter 2. Hearing the word divorce, Alex finally lifted his head. He narrowed his eyes, took a sip of tea, then slowly wiped his glasses, nonchalant as if he heard a joke. "Luna, you're 38, not 18. Why are you still throwing tantrums like a little girl? What did I say wrong? Do you not see how old you are? Wearing that dress really is embarrassing. You need to fix your temper. Otherwise, when Sophia's classmates find out she has such a petty mother, you'll shame her." That's Alex. All my emotions are irrational to him. All his insults are small matters. So I didn't say anything. I went into the room, packed my luggage, and took out the divorce papers to place them on the table. Speaking of which, the divorce papers were drafted a month ago. It was Alex's birthday. I had been busy since morning preparing a big meal for the whole family. Everyone ate happily, except Alex, who kept nitpicking. The fish is too fishy. Not good. The broccoli is too salty. Are you trying to kill someone with salt? Luna, don't cook next time. Just make pig feed. Maybe pigs would be the only ones who can eat the things you make. His birthday is in the hottest days of summer. Knowing he likes fresh ingredients, I went to several markets comparing stall after stall. Afraid my cooking wouldn't satisfy him, I spent the whole morning practicing, getting several blisters from burns. When he said those words, the sweat on my forehead hadn't even dried, and the burns on my hands were still throbbing. Eventually, I lost control. I smashed everything like a lunatic and demanded to know why he always talked to me like that. But Alex hid in the shadows, watching me like I was a joke. It's just a joke. Do you really have to be like this? That was when the divorce papers were drafted. But no one believed I would actually divorce him. My mother tried to convince me. Divorce? What for? You've been married so many years. You're just angry. Once you calm down, you won't want to leave. Besides, Alex is great. He has no bad habits. He's just a bit sharp-tongued. If you divorce him, where will you find a man as good as him? I did feel reluctant. 15 years of feelings can't be put down easily. But to put them down is actually very simple. Like now, when I can calmly place the divorce papers in front of him and face all his so-called jokes. I remembered that saying, all dramatic departures are tests. The real departure is always silent. Chapter 3. Alex casually flipped through the agreement. Now you know how to buy something like this on Taobao to scare me? Which girlfriend taught you this trick? With your brain you couldn't have come up with something like this. I ignored him and spoke on my own. The agreement is real. All the details match our situation. 15 years of marriage, we have 2 properties under our names, both co-mortgaged. So you take one, I take one. The cars are the same. You get one, I get one. The rest of the savings are split 50-50 according to the law. As for Sophia, she's grown up. She's not a little kid anymore. So who she stays with, let her decide herself. But Sophia is preparing for her high school entrance exam. I don't want her mood affected, so we may need to wait until after her exam to tell her about the divorce. Look at the agreement and see if there's any issue. If not, after Sophia finishes the exam, we'll pick a day to finalize the divorce. Alex's expression became serious. He held the agreement and read it carefully, his face turning darker and darker, his hand gripping the paper gradually tightening. He suddenly looked up. Luna, are you serious? You want a divorce over such a small thing? I nodded, answering his question, then added, maybe to you this is a small thing, but to me it isn't. I had never expressed my thoughts to Alex so calmly and clearly. In front of him, he only needed 2 or 3 sentences to turn me into an out-of-control lunatic. Then he could justifiably criticize me. Look at you, you get agitated too easily. You can't even speak clearly. When you really think things through, come back and refute me. But now that I was calm, he wasn't happy either. His face darkened as he tore the agreement into pieces. Luna, you've crossed the line this time. I just said you didn't look good in pink. Fine, I apologize, okay? It's my fault. From now on, even if I see you wearing pink, I won't say a word. Are you satisfied now? But I'm warning you, marriage isn't a joke. Throwing around this kind of joke repeatedly will only destroy the feelings between us. He's still the same. A perfunctory apology, a habitual shifting of blame. As if one light, careless sorry could erase all the wounds he left on me. But this time I wasn't going to play along. I picked up my suitcase. Alex, I'll repeat myself. I'm serious. If you won't sign the agreement, then we'll separate and go to court. As long as I can successfully divorce you, I'm willing to drag this out for as long as needed. Chapter 4. When I checked into the hotel, my parents had already heard from Alex that I wanted a divorce. They called to scold me. Stop it already. Alex is a great catch, handsome and successful. Sure, sometimes he speaks harshly, but he doesn't mean it. Luna, when will you learn to be content? So many men cheat and abuse their wives. Compared to them, what Alex says is nothing. I heard these kinds of lectures even back in college. Back then, Alex was the beloved school genius and campus prince. Everyone said I was lucky to be with him, but it wasn't that I never brought up breaking up. When he called me a stupid pig for not solving a problem, when he told me I was useless for not winning a competition. The worst incident was when I got into making clay figurines and opened a small taobao shop. Alex not only mocked my designs relentlessly, he secretly threw away all the clay pieces I had prepared for sale. He said, "These pieces of trash, you think anyone wants them?" I was furious and wanted to break up, but my roommate persuaded me. He just went overboard this time. Otherwise, he's great. Handsome, capable. Men like him are rare. Alex's little fangirl said I was oversensitive. She really thinks her stuff is worth money. She's so delusional. Being isolated is terrifying. When your thoughts contradict everyone else's, you instinctively doubt yourself. Back then I fell into that trap too. Maybe I really didn't know how to appreciate him. Maybe I really was too sensitive. Maybe what I made really wasn't that good. And so Alex and I continued on. One wrong step over 10 years. But fortunately I am awake now. So I firmly responded to my parents. Alex has good qualities, but am I that bad? He may be better than men who cheat or abuse their wives. But is it really so hard to find someone who doesn't cheat, doesn't abuse, and also respects me verbally? Blood is thicker than water. My parents could hear my determination. They sighed and said, "We'll talk when you calm down," and hung up. I didn't sit idle. I opened my laptop and began searching for jobs. After being a housewife for so many years, it was time to plan my post-divorce life. Actually, I wasn't inferior back then either. Alex was the campus prince and I was the campus belle. He was a straight A student, and my GPA was high enough for a guaranteed postgraduate spot. But after marriage and giving birth to Sophia, Alex said I had been away from the workforce too long and had lost all ability to work. So I settled down at home, supporting the family and raising our child. Now I'm restarting my life. I rewrote my resume and was about to submit it when Sophia called. Her voice was choked with sobs. Mom, are you and Dad getting a divorce? What will happen to me? Chapter 5. Sophia is now in the 9th grade in a closed boarding program, preparing for the high school entrance exam. She can only come home once at the end of each month, and right now it's the beginning of the month. There is no way Sophia at school could know about our divorce, nor could she possibly get hold of a phone to contact me, unless someone told her. Alex. I pushed open the door, and what I saw was Sophia crying uncontrollably and Alex with an unhappy expression. When he saw me come in, Alex instinctively blamed me. See? It's all your fault. Who told you to bring up divorce? Look how upset Sophia is because of you. She has her entrance exam in 3 months. How is she supposed to take it like this? If she doesn't do well, it's going to be your responsibility. Sophia looked up at me with tear-filled eyes. Mom, can you not divorce Dad? I heard about it at school. The moment I heard you were separating, I felt so horrible I couldn't do anything. Sophia's eyes were swollen from crying, and my heart shattered seeing her like this. See how clever Alex is. He knows Sophia is my soft spot. So even though I reminded him not to disturb her during this crucial time, he still insisted on telling her early, using the pain it caused her as a weapon to soften my resolve. Then he rushed to blame me first, wiping his hands clean of everything. Seeing me silent, Alex revealed a subtle smug smile. He probably thought that for the sake of Sophia's exam I would compromise. Unfortunately for him, before I am a mother I am first myself. So I stepped forward, held Sophia in my arms and wiped her tears. I'm sorry, Sophia. But Mom and Dad getting a divorce is already a fact that can't be changed. Sophia continued to sob softly. Alex's expression suddenly changed. He jumped to his feet and slammed a teacup. Luna, can't you see how upset your daughter is? How can you still say something like that to her? When did you become this cold-blooded? If it were the old me, I would have already been fighting with Alex by now. But now I calmly countered. First of all, I already told you Sophia is about to take her exam. I told you not to provoke her. If you hadn't insisted on telling her about the divorce early, she wouldn't be this upset. So the responsibility is yours, not mine. Second, our divorce is a fact. I will not lie to Sophia just because she's sad. She's grown up. She has her own judgment. I should respect her right to know the truth. But you, Alex, you're the one using our daughter's pain to threaten me into not divorcing you. If anyone is cold-blooded here, it's you. Alex didn't expect this reaction from me. He couldn't refute me and could only light a cigarette. Amidst the swirling smoke, his voice softened. Luna, honey, I was wrong. I shouldn't have said you looked bad in pink this morning, and I shouldn't have told our daughter about the divorce. Can you forgive me this once? From now on, the 3 of us will live happily together. I froze a little. Yes, Alex's attitude toward me hasn't always been harsh. Sometimes, when I really couldn't stand his mouth and fought with him, he did occasionally lower his posture and beg for my forgiveness. I'm doing this for your own good. But my way of expressing it wasn't right. I know I was wrong. I promise it won't happen again. Just this once. A few slaps, then a piece of candy, a very effective routine. He could deny me 1,000 times, but just one affirmation from him was always enough to make me stay heart and soul. I sighed. Alex arguing about who's right or wrong no longer matters. I want to live a good life too. But with you around I will never be happy. So please let me go. Chapter 6. I took Sophia out for dinner. She had calmed down a lot. Stirring the pasta in her bowl, she asked gloomily, Mom, if you two separate, who will I live with? I patted her head. Whoever you like. But I can't choose. I like Dad, he buys me pretty dresses, spends a lot of money letting me take different hobby classes, and he always puts work aside during holidays to take me traveling. Mom, I like you too. You remember all my food preferences, and whenever I mess up on an exam, you comfort me gently. You even watch my favorite anime with me. I don't want to lose either of you. Can't you two please not separate? Sophia's words brought back many memories. To be fair, Alex might not be a good husband, but he is a good father. The three of us used to be happy too, trips to the park, the amusement park, going to Hainan to see the ocean in summer, going to Xinjiang to see the snow in winter. But if this happiness must come at the cost of my feelings, I don't want it. I thought for a moment, then pulled Sophia into my arms. No matter who you stay with, I'll always be your mom. And he will always be your dad. I will still remember everything about you and still do all the things you love. And Dad will still support every choice you make. We just can't be husband and wife anymore. But because of you, we will always be a family. Sophia lowered her head after hearing my words. After a long silence, she finally seemed to make a decision. She wiped her tears and looked up. Mom, I want to stay with you, she explained. After the divorce, you'll definitely need to work again. The competition is so tough nowadays, it won't be easy for you. I want to be with you. Compared to Dad, I feel like you need me more. I looked at her in surprise. Sophia accepted it far better than I expected. She thought far more deeply than I expected. Sensing my emotions, Sophia smiled. Mom, I'm not a little kid anymore. This time let me protect you. Chapter 7. I don't know what Sophia said to Alex, but he actually stopped bothering me. He just didn't sign the divorce papers. I figured there was no rush, we could wait until Sophia finished her exam. During this time, I rented a place outside and threw myself back into the job market. Sophia was right, the job market now is fiercely competitive. Most of my applications sank without a trace. The few responses I received either disliked my lack of recent work experience or my having a child. In the end, it was a design company that gave me a chance. The reason they wanted to interview me was unexpected. It turned out it was because of my clay craft experience from years ago. Recently, our company has been preparing a cultural product line using clay as the main material. We saw in your portfolio that you made clay figurines in college. To be honest, the designs are very good and they match the concept of this project. When I heard that, I nearly cried. After 15 years, someone finally acknowledged that what I made back then wasn't trash. I do have skills. I do have talent. Maybe I really wasn't that bad after all. Right after the call ended, I began preparing for the interview. I majored in graphic design in college. Even though the foundation was still there, my hands were undeniably rusty. I also needed to catch up and learn several new design programs. Those days were tough, but I enjoyed every moment of it. In Alex's eyes, I was always terrible, useless, unreasonable. But that wasn't the real me. After leaving the wrong person, I became calm, intelligent, motivated, and emotionally stable. I no longer lost control at a few harsh words. I loved this version of myself. Until that day, I arrived at the design company on time for the interview, only to be told my interview had already been canceled. The receptionist told me the cancellation was done by email. It seems your husband canceled it for you. In the email, he said you only wanted to work because you were fighting with him, that you didn't really mean it, and that once you cooled off, you'd have to go back home to take care of your daughter. Chapter 8. I don't even know how to describe what I felt in that moment. On my way home, I kept calling the interviewer, who was already on a business trip, to explain the situation. I begged them to give me another interview opportunity. But the interviewer's voice sounded cold. Sorry. Whether what your husband said is true or not, we can't take that risk. And besides, after your email canceling the interview, we've already found a suitable candidate. I slowly put down my phone. It felt like all the effort I'd made these past days had been nothing but a delusional dream. Right. This world is just like that. Opportunities come only once. Talent arrives one wave after another. Reality isn't a novel. You don't get a protagonist halo. Some things once missed really are gone forever. When I pushed open the front door, Alex was already waiting there. You're back. I know what you want to say. Yes, I'm the one who canceled the interview. You didn't log out of your email on the computer. I saw your interview confirmation, so I helped you cancel it. Sophia told me earlier to give you some time to calm down. I thought once you cooled off, you'd come back home. Didn't expect the more you thought, the more ridiculous you got. How long has it been since you last worked? Let's be honest, you simply don't have the ability. You think you can design anything commercially valuable? Think you can use the software young designers use now? Alex kept rambling, even leisurely making himself a cup of tea. It must be hard job hunting lately, huh? Just admit it, Luna. Once you step out of this home, you're nothing but a loser. I couldn't hold it in. I knocked over his teacup. Still not satisfied, I grabbed a vase and smashed it toward his head. What right do you have to say I can't design? What right do you have to say I can't use the software? What right do you have to call me a loser? Alex clearly wasn't expecting it and got hit hard, blood dripping down his forehead. The blood splattered onto the white carpet, spreading, darkening, just like our broken marriage. But seeing me lose control, a twisted look of satisfaction actually appeared on his face. Luna, look at you. Losing your temper again. How can you possibly accomplish anything like this? And then I suddenly understood. Alex was doing it on purpose. He wanted to belittle me. He wanted to watch me go crazy from being belittled. The crazier the better. He enjoyed it. My loss of control was his greatest proof that he still held power over me. Which is why when I stayed calm, he became so panicked. This time I didn't indulge him either. I grabbed whatever was within reach and kept hitting him. I even gave him a few hard slaps across the face. So what if I'm not calm? Is calmness supposed to be some superior virtue? Calm so you can keep degrading me into nothing? Calm so I can keep living in those brainwashed days with you? I was too crazy and Alex finally panicked. He grabbed my hands trying to stop me. But my fists kept swinging at him again and again until half his face was swollen and he could no longer speak. I stood up, looking down at him coldly. Alex, let me tell you, this divorce is happening. If you try to stop me again, I'll beat you again. Chapter 9. The boxing training I had been doing was indeed effective. Alex couldn't get up for a while and naturally had no strength to hold me back. Considering that we were once husband and wife, I still thoughtfully called him an ambulance. Not even half an hour later my mother called me. Her scream was deafening. Luna, what have you done? How could you lay such a heavy hand on Alex? You get over here this instant and apologize to Alex, or I'll treat it as if I never had a daughter. My dad also yelled at me. Luna, how did I raise something like you? I took a deep breath, trying my best to control my emotions. But the softest part of my heart was still pierced open, blood turning into tears, dripping down one by one. I asked Dad, Mom, have you ever actually treated me as your child? Because to me it feels more like Alex is your biological son. When we were little, he always came over to our house. You saved the biggest chicken drumstick for him, gave him new clothes, and even my favorite picture books ended up in his hands. In middle school, he ranked first and I ranked second. You scolded me for being useless, saying I wasn't as good as Alex in anything. After I got married, whenever Alex and I fought and I came back home, you promised not to interfere. But then you would secretly call him over and persuade me that there's no overnight grudge between husband and wife. Dad, Mom, you gave Alex so much love. Why couldn't you give me even a little? My mom froze. She coughed unnaturally. That was because Alex had special family circumstances. He was a left-behind child, no one at home to take care of him. We were neighbors, so we thought we should look after him more. You girl. Why are you so petty? You remember things from so long ago. Weren't those all small matters? I didn't respond to her excuses, just continued, Dad, Mom, do you know there was a time when I kept wandering up to the rooftop? I would unconsciously stand at the edge of the rooftop thinking, if I just jump from here, everything would be over. Jump, jump. Then no one would say I'm not good enough anymore. It was much later that I learned I had depression. I started taking medication, slept excessively. My emotions were unstable. But you two said I was lazy, unmotivated, bad-tempered. You felt sorry for Alex instead. Sorry that he had a hard time supporting the family. Even when you visited our home, you always brought basin ginseng, Alex's favorites. You never brought what I liked. Was it because you didn't want to? Or because you didn't even know? On the other end of the line, my mother let out a deep sigh. Luna, you are our child. How could we not know what you like? Really? Then tell me, what do I like? Food, clothes, things I use, anything. Just name one. Silence. Which already counted as an answer. I spoke softly. Asking me to apologize to Alex is impossible. If I don't go back home and you want to pretend you don't have a daughter, then go ahead and pretend. Chapter 10. I changed my residence. I only told Sophia about the new address. She kept her lips sealed. When her grandparents and her dad questioned her, she just kept a stern little face and replied, "Mom needs her personal space." At the same time, I officially filed a divorce lawsuit. In this era, getting a divorce isn't easy, especially when Alex has no concrete evidence of cheating, and we haven't been separated for more than 2 years. The lawyer said this would be a long battle. I didn't care. I could outlast him. Meanwhile, I finally found a job. It was at a design company so small it couldn't be any smaller. Just starting out with no real money. The monthly salary was only $1,500. Even the interns hired at the same time earned more than I did. But I was satisfied. I wasn't willing to give up any opportunity, studying day and night. In the beginning, I learned slowly and the young people in the office laughed at me. "Sis, can you even do this? You can't learn something this simple." But these comments felt insignificant compared to 15 years of belittlement. If I couldn't understand something, I asked. If I still didn't understand, I asked again. If I still didn't understand, I asked once more. Finally, I was able to produce some results. A big company took interest in one of my designs and bought the copyright, giving me recognition. I got promoted, received a raise, and my wallet was no longer stretched thin. The young people began to praise me. "Sis, you're awesome. Your designs have so much story in them." Of course. Look at your age, then look at ours. How could we compare to you? Their compliments were straightforward and sincere. So sincere that they made me embarrassed. I waved my hands modestly. No, don't joke like that. I still have a lot of room for improvement." But the intern Roxana saw through me instantly. "Lunajia, we're not joking. Don't be insecure. You're amazing. Almost 40, dared to divorce, dared to start over alone, and you even made a name for yourself. We all think you must have been a powerful woman when you were young, the kind you see on TV, decisive, sharp, unstoppable. But no. The young Luna had inferiority carved into her bones. She believed she was incompetent, worthless, without value. Talking to others, her spine would bend unconsciously. It was only through blood and tears, pain and exhaustion that Luna became who she is now. Roxana and I became friends. After work, she would come to my tiny rented apartment to eat. One time I was distracted while cooking and accidentally added too much salt. Too much salt, though really it was only half a spoon more. But a sudden panic rushed to my chest. Alex's voice rang in my ears. "Why did you put so much salt? Trying to salt someone to death? Stop cooking. Go make pig slop instead." Uneasy, I carefully brought out the dish, hoping Roxana wouldn't blame me. "Sorry. I added too much salt. It might not taste good." Roxana jumped in shock. "Luna, you scared the hell out of me. It's just too much salt." With that expression, I thought you'd put actual shit in it. She took a bite and looked impressed. "Anything Luna makes is premium. Delicious. A bit salty, can't hide your cooking skills. Besides, in my eyes, anyone who can cook is amazing. I'm 25 and can't leave a kitchen without new burns on my hands." Luna, why are you crying?" The cautious one became Roxana. She asked softly, "Luna, what's wrong? Did something happen?" If earlier my sobbing was quiet, now I was crying openly. It was the first time I realized adding too much salt doesn't get you yelled at. Losing control emotionally can be understood and cared for. My tears hit the floor, scattering like drops of happiness. I just suddenly felt so happy. The feeling of being acknowledged. The feeling of being cared about. It was wonderful. Chapter 11. After the high school entrance exam, Sophia stayed home for a while. According to her, Alex was completely helpless in daily life. Either he forgot to do the laundry or whatever he cooked in the kitchen was completely inedible. It seemed he wasn't as all-capable as he liked to appear. No wonder he kept calling me every 2 or 3 days to bother me. The first day, "Where is my brown tie?" The second day, "How do you turn on the kitchen range hood?" Then it was where the stomach medicine was, the repair company's number. I was endlessly annoyed. Finally, when he called yet again asking how to fix the kitchen faucet, I mocked him. "Alex, how can you not even handle something this small?" That familiar sentence pulled my thoughts back to many years ago. On that rainy day when I had forgotten my umbrella, I came home completely soaked. I walked into a kitchen where the water pipe had burst, dirty water flooding the floor. So I had to repair the pipe while enduring the wet clothes sticking to me, cleaning up the mess, all while coaxing a crying 2-year-old Sophia who was screaming nonstop on the bed. When Alex came home and saw the chaos, the first thing he said was, "Luna, how can you not even handle something this small? You can't do housework, you can't take care of Sophia. How can you make everything look so terrible?" The water from the pipe continued dripping, and Sophia was still crying her lungs out. I begged Alex to lend a hand to help me, but he said, "Managing household affairs is your job. The house is a mess now. It's your fault, so of course you should deal with it yourself." So now, facing the anxious Alex on the other end of the phone, I returned every one of those words to him. There was silence on the other end. Only faint water sounds and Alex's heavy breathing mixed together. He remembered. Yes, the ties in the closet don't line themselves up. The meals in the kitchen don't magically appear. A broken pipe doesn't fix itself. Everything I did was never a small matter. Never. After a long time, I finally heard a barely audible voice from the other end. He said, "I'm sorry." Chapter 12. I didn't know whether it was because of that day's memories, but Alex seemed to feel guilty. He started treating me better. Not only did he, through Sophia, let me know that the entire house had been renovated, all according to my preferred style, but he also somehow found out the address of my company and began sending flowers frequently. Roses, tulips, blue enchantresses. They were all the kinds of romance I longed for when I was young. Back when Alex and I had just gotten together, when I saw a girl selling flowers on the street and clung to him asking him to buy me a bouquet, his expression instantly darkened as he shook off my hand. Why buy flowers? It's just a trap of consumerism. Luna, please read more books. Without me by your side, you definitely get scammed by these silly tricks. The pink bubble of romance that had just risen in my heart was brutally popped. The small bouquet of miniature roses hidden in my tote bag, of course, was never given to me. Alex didn't understand. Some things once missed are missed forever. The 38-year-old Luna no longer needs romance. She needs ability and money. On the day Alex sent flowers for the 10th time, I received my second promotion. In the chat box, Alex kept typing messages and deleting them until one message finally remained. "I saw your post about the promotion on Moments. Pretty good. Impressive." I felt dazed for a moment. I remembered when I had just graduated and received my first promotion. I shared the good news with Alex right away, only to be splashed with cold water. "It's just a tiny team leader position. What's there to brag about? With how easily you get cocky, this is probably the highest you'll ever go in your life." Back then, how could I have imagined that more than 10 years later, I would hear words of affirmation from Alex? The messages on my phone didn't stop. Alex invited me to watch a movie. He sent 2 tickets. It was the anime I used to love the most. He said, "Luna, didn't you love this anime the most in college? The movie version was just released. Let's go watch it." Making this decision must not have been easy for Alex. He always preferred Hollywood blockbusters full of special effects. He said the anime I loved was childish nonsense. Once we had a terrible fight over it. He couldn't stand me dozing off during Hollywood movies, and I couldn't stand him trashing the characters I loved. So the next day, Alex deleted all my anime files stored on my cloud drive. The figures and posters in my room disappeared completely. In their place was a list of special effects movies Alex sent me. He said, "Luna, watch something better." At that time I was already 7 months pregnant. No job, no savings. Divorce. And then what? What would happen to my unborn daughter? How would I explain it to everyone? Someone like me, so lacking. Could I ever meet someone else? Back then I was too young, always caring more about others than myself. I was like someone trapped inside a sealed wall. No matter which direction I walked, there was no escape. That suffocating feeling seemed to pierce time and flood into my chest once again. And I suddenly realized it was too late. Whether it was Alex's apologies or his attempts at kindness, everything was too late. I wouldn't feel happy because he was trying to become a better person. All I felt was fear and unease. Every change he made reminded me of his old self. The wounds left from before were far too deep, so deep they could no longer be overwritten by new memories. I told Alex what I felt. I earnestly asked him not to disturb me anymore. But he didn't understand. "Luna, I admit I used to do wrong. But you can see I've changed recently. Are you really going to condemn me forever just because of a few harsh words and some mistakes I made in the past?" I couldn't communicate with him. All I could do was throw every bouquet he sent straight into the trash and reject his invitations again and again. But Alex wouldn't give up, he kept clinging on. Until one day, he found my depression diagnosis in the drawer at home. Chapter 13. The next time I saw Alex was a year later. I had just finished a therapy session when I saw Alex smoking downstairs outside the clinic. To be honest, at first glance I didn't recognize him. He looked worn out. Much more than I expected. Our mutual friend said he hadn't been doing well these past 6 months. His career hit a bottleneck. His boss yelled at him every day. And since he didn't know how to do housework, everything at home was a complete mess. Suddenly it dawned on me. He had aged. He was no longer the campus legend he once was, the top student and heartthrob who dazzled everyone. In the decline of his life, he desperately needed someone slightly beneath him to compare against, to reassure himself that he was still excellent, still smart, still handsome. And in his life there was no better choice for that role than me. Alex looked genuinely delighted to see me. Or perhaps astonished. In the past 6 months we hadn't seen each other. I had lost weight, gotten a wavy perm, and looked completely different. My career was thriving. I had taken on several major projects and my bonuses had multiplied. Alex didn't dare act too excited. He only called out to me with a cautious tone. "Luna, long time no see." I nodded slightly. "I heard you found a job. And even got promoted." "Yes. That's good. Really good." Alex held back for a long time yet couldn't say anything more. It was almost funny, 15 years of marriage and now we only had 3 sentences left between us. I grew impatient. "If you don't have anything else to say, I'll leave. For anything regarding the divorce, talk to my lawyer." "Wait." Alex grabbed my wrist. "I found your medical records at home. And the card for this clinic. That's how I knew you were coming here. Luna, you have depression. And you even self-harmed before. Why didn't you tell me?" His hand was gripping exactly where the scars were. The scars had already turned pale and raised, ugly, exposed on my skin. His rough fingers brushed over them again and again, and his eyes turned red. "Luna, why didn't you tell me?" I answered softly. I did tell him. I remembered it clearly. It was after we attended a college reunion. On the way back he hadn't stopped complaining. "Luna, look at Gloria. She was in the same dorm as you. And now she's a senior manager at headquarters. And look at you, what have you achieved? If you can't succeed in your career, fine. But as a woman you should at least take care of your appearance, right? Look at Lisa. She had a kid, you had a kid, she snapped back into shape after giving birth and have you counted how many layers of fat are on your stomach?" As he kept going he got more and more carried away, and his voice grew louder, enough to draw the attention of people passing by. Those gazes, mocking, pitying, entertained, swarmed around me, tightening, suffocating. I was like a spring forced down further and further, suppressing myself desperately, until I hit the bottom, and snapped. My emotions exploded. In the middle of our argument I screamed at Alex with all my strength. "Do I have to die for you to finally stop thinking I'm trash? You've already pushed me into depression. What more do you want from me?" When I brought up that incident, Alex's face turned deathly pale. I smiled and continued, "Alex, do you remember what you said back then? You said, 'Depression, Luna, you just can't control your emotions. Useless is useless. Don't use an illness as an excuse.' Do you remember? There happened to be a group of young guys drag racing nearby. I actually thought about crashing into them, ending everything once and for all, just so I'd never have to hear your voice again. But I couldn't bear to leave Sophia. She wasn't grown yet. She still needed me. Alex, during these 15 years, if it hadn't been for Sophia, I would have died long ago." Alex froze. When he finally spoke again, his voice was choked with tears. "Luna, I'm sorry. I really didn't know your condition was that serious. I sometimes just talk crap. I didn't mean to put you down. I was just saying things without thinking. Luna, please forgive me, okay? This past year without you, I thought about so much. I admit I used to treat you terribly. After you left, I started missing your pink dress, the meals you made, the way you sat at your desk sculpting clay." I sighed. "But back then you never cherished any of that. You only ever said I dressed old-fashioned, that my cooking was pig slop, that my clay works were trash." Alex, my life is limited. I already wasted 15 years on you. How many sets of 15 years does a person have? Or do you need to push me to death before you're satisfied? Alex said nothing. I felt the grip on my wrist loosen little by little. He lit another cigarette, smoking silently, the trembling of his fingertips revealing all the turmoil in his heart. After a long time he finally spoke. 1 month. What? Give me 1 month. And if you still want a divorce after that, I'll let you go. Chapter 14. I agreed and moved back into the house where Alex lived. It was also a way to put a final period on our relationship. Seeing me back home again, Sophia was surprised. But she didn't say much. She simply hugged me and whispered in my ear, "Mom, I support every decision you make." But Alex was excited. On the first day, he cooked by himself, saying he wanted to celebrate Sophia's good grades in her monthly exam. He spent an entire day in the kitchen and looked at me expectantly. "Luna, how's my cooking?" I took a bite and frowned. "Alex, what is this supposed to be? Is it for pigs?" "No, actually, I doubt even pigs would want to eat this." The color drained from Alex's face inch by inch. He clenched his fists, forcing a smile. "If you don't like it, then we'll just throw it away." The next day he wore a denim outfit, saying it was modeled after my favorite male celebrity. I drank my porridge without even lifting my head. "Alex, how old are you? Still wearing clothes like some kid. Don't you dare wear that out. You might not feel embarrassed, but I do." After hearing that, Alex silently changed out of the outfit. On the third day we went to Hainan Island together. Alex built a sandcastle on the beach and excitedly called me over. "Luna, doesn't this look like the one you built last year?" As he spoke, he became a little sad. "Sigh, last year when the whole family came here things were so good. But now everything has changed." I corrected him. "It wasn't good back then either. I built a sandcastle and you said it was ugly and that I had no artistic sense. Later, when we went to dinner, I suggested trying the local seafood stalls and you said I had no taste, that even on vacation I didn't know how to choose something upscale." Alex finally couldn't hold it in. "Luna, is this necessary? I say one thing and you say 10 things to insult me." I reminded him. "Don't forget, I lived like this for 15 years. He fell silent. But suddenly I found it meaningless. Does it feel good to hurt someone the way they once hurt you? Yes, it does. But then what? Every time you fight back, the scars in your heart ache again, as if reminding you that you never truly let go, that you're still clutching those old wounds tight. So for the next few days I began ignoring Alex. I had no enthusiasm for anything. Alex, however, panicked again. He held my hand and begged, "Luna, can you please talk to me? Even if you're mocking me, fine. But when you ignore me it makes me feel like you have no feelings for me at all." He performed his deep affection, but I had no intention of being his audience. I simply counted silently in my heart. How many days left until the end of the 1-month period? Chapter 15. 1 month passed quickly. On the final day, Alex said he wanted to talk. Under the dim candlelight, I learned about his family for the first time. Not the left-behind child story, but a cheating mother and a runaway father. His unusual family background turned sharp sarcasm into his protective shell. Growing up, everyone stayed away from him because of his coldness and his cutting tongue. Everyone except me, the girl who lived next door. The one who smiled at him again and again. Even if 1 second earlier he had cursed me to hell, I would still poke my head out the next second and ask if he wanted to come over for dinner. I've never seen what love looks like, so I never knew how to love someone. I only remember that when I was young my dad used to yell at my mom like that. And the people around us kept saying that hitting is affection, scolding is love. So I thought that was love. "I'm so sorry for hurting you." He covered his face and cried, talking about his helplessness. But all I felt was shock. I never imagined that my small acts of kindness back then would become the source of my nightmares for the next half of my life. If only I hadn't reached out to that boy sitting alone in the corner. If only I hadn't felt sorry for him and invited him over for dinner. Maybe I would have had parents who loved me. Maybe I would have met a partner who respected me. Instead of floating and sinking in this nightmare called marriage for over 10 years. I understand now. I loved you in the wrong way. Can you give me another chance? Let's start over. I shook my head. How could we possibly start over again? Yes, maybe Alex really could restrain his temper. Maybe he could keep it up for 3 months, 6 months, even a year. But what about the next 5 years, the next 10 years, the next 20? Life is long. Can he guarantee he will never repeat the same mistakes? I don't dare gamble. And I cannot gamble. Alex understood my answer. He wiped away his tears and signed his name on the divorce papers. We chose a sunny day to get divorced. When I received the green booklet, I couldn't help but laugh. Alex forced a smile and teased me indifferently. You're getting divorced and you can still laugh. You're really heartless. Sometimes I truly feel like, maybe you never loved me. The shadows of the trees scattered on the ground like stars. I suddenly remembered. The day we collected our marriage certificate was also a sunny day. On that day, Alex was unusually obedient to my wishes, wore a white shirt and black leather shoes. When I acted coquettish with him, he didn't dislike it. He simply turned his head away awkwardly, letting the tips of his ears turn red. So we did have moments of loving each other like that. I can answer Alex's question now. I did love you. I answered silently in my heart. I loved the burning heat of your lips during our first kiss. I loved the way you proudly said you didn't like that silly girl Luna. I loved the furrow of your brows full of anxiety when you sent me into the delivery room. 15 years, how could there be no love? But the price of loving you was far too heavy. So all we could do was part ways. Chapter 16. Alex and I divorced peacefully, and we still kept occasional contact. As for my parents, in the end I couldn't completely cut ties with them. I just visited far less often. Only during holidays would I stay for a few days. In the beginning, my parents would still bring up Alex. Later they stopped mentioning him. They even started learning how to praise me. Luna, we heard you got promoted again. That's wonderful. Sometimes they would even take my side and drive Alex out when he came to see me. You hurt my daughter so much before. Now we don't welcome you either. But I couldn't feel happy at all. Praise and affection that come too late, do they still count? But it no longer mattered. During the first Lunar New Year after the divorce, I brought Sophia back to my hometown. Alex came too. I heard that after the divorce many people tried to set him up with someone, but he rejected them all. The 3 of us took Sophia to the riverside in the suburbs to set off fireworks. After all, Sophia was still a child. Seeing her mom and dad together again made her unbelievably excited. One firework after another lit up the night sky. When the last firework streaked across the sky and faded, I heard Alex speak. Luna, is there really no possibility between us? You saw it too. Sophia was so happy when we were together today. This year. You haven't started a new relationship and I'm still alone. Doesn't that mean I still have a chance? Just as he finished, another firework exploded. I pretended I didn't hear what he said. Sophia happened to pull me away to light another firework, and Alex had no choice but to drop the topic. But he didn't give up. Late that night, I overheard him secretly asking Sophia whether I had shown any signs of a new relationship. Sophia replied unexpectedly seriously, Dad, give up. Even if Mom doesn't have a boyfriend, that doesn't mean she'll get back with you. She wasn't happy at all when she was with you. Sophia's words made tears rise in my eyes. All those days when I forced myself not to end my life, they weren't in vain after all. Maybe I have been unfortunate. A failed, unbearable marriage that lasted 15 years. But I am also fortunate. I have a daughter who understands me, a successful career, and friends who know me. And in the future, if I'm lucky enough, maybe I'll meet someone who truly understands me. In the years when I grow old, I will happily and tirelessly wear that pink dress again and again. He will kiss the corner of my lips, praising me over and over. You're beautiful.